Namaskar. Today I will talk about aparigraha. It is the final principle of Jama Sadhana. Aparigraha is very important because it creates contentedness, it creates the feeling of happiness. But it is very revolutionary because it goes ultra-wise to everything that is taught by current socio-economic framework. What is the current society teaching us? It is teaching that the accumulation is the goal of life. The more things you have, the worthier you are. Your worth, your self-respect, the respect towards you by the society is dependent on how much you have, how much money is in your pocket, how much property, how many acquisitions you got. And also society is teaching us that by acquiring more and more, you are becoming happier person. The advertisement doesn't sell things, it sells happiness, it sells satisfaction, it sells respect, all those things that we're supposed to get by purchasing particular commodities, goods. It is not true, rather it is a big lie that diverts us. Of course, for some people it is profitable to motivate us to move and acquire things which are really of little value to our development and to our happiness and to our contentedness. But for somebody is profitable, so it is promoted very strongly. And from childhood we get this idea that accumulation is good, accumulation is the goal of life. So now, when I'm speaking about aparigraha, I'm expecting the tomatoes flying at me because I'm going to say something completely controversial, completely going against of what we learned, and even against of our common sense, because we think, yes, when I get a new smartphone, I feel happy. When I get a new car, I feel happier. Aparigraha means not indulging into this race of accumulation. Aparigraha means to follow the path of rationality and to have what you need and do not have what you don't need. When you are going to buy something, you need to ask yourself a question. Do I really need this? This question is very important. Do I really need it? Can I remain happy without getting this commodity? Can I still be a happy person without getting this? If the answer is yes, then don't buy. Because by buying, you are increasing your dependence on the external objects. There is a thirst inside. It is a thirst for infinite happiness, thirst for infinity. There are two ways to achieve happiness. Externally, by getting the objects of pleasure, and that pleasure is never lasting. It is always a short term. You just receive your dopamine in the brain, the hormone is created, and you feel, oh, I'm satisfied. But this satisfaction never lasts for a long time. Or you can create a lasting happiness by practicing connection with your inner self, by practicing inner peace. So when you are indulging into this race after the objects, your mind becomes extraversial. You start to leave, your attention is jumping from one object to another. It is accustomed to derive a very temporary satisfaction. But when you practice inner arts, like meditation, you connect with your inner self, you turn yourself inwardly, you start to experience inner happiness. Now when I'm speaking, many people, they don't have any idea what is this inner happiness. there is a joy within us, which can be accessible by anyone. But the mind for that has to become turned inward. But if you are in the race, in the made race after the objects, first your time is wasted, your energy is wasted, your youth is wasted. But also your mind becomes extraversial. It loses the capacity to connect with the inner source of bliss. And naturally you become less and less happy. That is why there was a poll in the United States, there was research, and they found out that the people were happier 30 years ago than now. And now everything improved, everything increased. The houses became bigger, the fridges became bigger, the peanut butter jars became larger, the iPhones became faster, the computers became very smart. Everything improves, increases, but somehow I don't feel happier with every year. There is not that. And there is this greed is increasing. Yes, it is increasing more and more. It doesn't mean that you, so-called civilized person, are happier than someone who has not even seen the smartphone. I am not against the civilization, I am not against the different objects given by technologies. I'm just saying that there has to be a rational use. If you have a car, why do you need to get this, toppest car? Yes, for the materialist person is okay because he cannot imagine any other ways to get happy. All right, then the car is the way. But if you have a choice to spend your energy, you spend 3 years of your life to get that, basically to get respect and to get some satisfaction. But you could spend those years in much more meaningful way. And also aparigraha, in my own personal experience, there are 2 things of Jama Niyama, 3, that helps very much the financial stability. They create such a mentality in which you never have to worry for anything. Everything is somehow provided to you. I already spoke about it in the principle of Asteya, and that was the one prerequisite. And the second prerequisite, to remain always constantly well financially, is this aparigraha. Everything in this universe is provided by Supreme Consciousness. This universe is not dead material structure. It is an intelligent entity. So when you live, when you consciously discipline yourself, when you are not overindulging, you are not breaking the law of nature. And the nature will always provide for you. You will be very surprised, but somehow it comes. This is my personal experience. So that's important. And then also santosha. Santosha is the feeling of satisfaction. Many people will feel that, okay, I will do meditation and it will make me internally happy. If I will become internally happy, I will be less dependent on the external objects. To some extent it is true. But actually, this contentedness, it is not out of contentedness this aparigraha coming. Aparigraha means that you are limiting your needs, making it less. You're becoming less dependent. So it is not out of contentment you are doing that. But because you are limiting your needs, slowly, in your mind, the peace is created. You don't feel you are hankering anymore after any objects. You are already fine. You have asked your question. You have asked yourself a question. Can I still remain happy without this? Yes, I can. And slowly you find that inner happiness which is already there. You find that contentedness. In the morning you wake up, you don't feel any criticism in your mind. You don't feel any dissatisfaction, or somebody has not given me something, this world being unjust to me. No, we feel, it's so wonderful. My life is so wonderful. There is this criteria, how to know that you are following aparigraha. You are living a certain standard of life. And there is a certain happiness in your life. If anything will change, if tomorrow you will get $1 billion in your pocket, and if it will change or improve your happiness, it means that you are not really following aparigraha. If you are following aparigraha, if tomorrow the $1 billion will come, you will feel nothing have changed. I was a happy person, I am a happy person, I will be a happy person. Nothing will change. I don't know, maybe I am deceiving myself, but I feel that in my life, if so much money will appear, nothing will change actually. I will not change my lifestyle, nothing will change. Of course, I will utilize this money for some good things. Yes, I will do that, definitely. And it will give me some happiness, because if I will see that someone is getting happy by my actions, it is a beautiful feeling. So, okay, I'm coming to this point also. If my needs are so little, then why do I need to do anything? Because you are doing it not for yourself, you are doing it for others. The simple way to follow this aparigraha is to think that nothing in this world belongs to me. Everything is given by Supreme Consciousness. And I'm simply managing. I have property, I have a house, I have money, I have a car. I'm simply managing. This is given for me to be able to allow me, to give me an opportunity to develop physically, psychically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, intellectually, intuitionally. And this is given to me that I will help others, assist others in the same. We live on the finite planet, and even in one person there is an infinite desire. So finite planet and infinite desire does not coincide with each other. Even you, one person, if given the chance, you can consume the entire planet. You can consume the entire galaxy, the entire universe, and still you feel empty, still you will feel unsatisfied. So that is the situation. And there is a conflict. So we as a humanity, we are destroying the planet because we just want too much. No need. We never stop to think that, okay, do I really need? Or maybe I should leave the tree as a tree, not as some beautiful thing in the shop. Can I survive? So that is, when you think that everything is given for service, naturally, if you are living in abundance and you are just hoarding and hoarding and hoarding more and more, it's okay to make money, it's okay to make business, but why should you hoard? Why should you accumulate like a sick person? If someone is getting all these strange things and bringing in the house, people will think that person is mentally challenged. But if you're hoarding money, you are a respectable person. Why don't we think how to utilize this money for the progress of humanity, for happiness of people? Because the God has given us this to do this task. And if someone is hungry, if someone is sick, if someone is suffering due to the lack of physical amenities, physical necessities of life, if someone is dying out of hunger, is it not our fault? Is it not because we didn't do our duty to care and to provide? So this is aparigraha. It has many, many implications. First one, ecological one. If we would all follow aparigraha, this planet will be so clean and so healthy and so beautiful. Our mother, it would love us for eternity. There would be no poverty. Because if someone is getting too much, naturally, others getting too little. Today, 10 richest people of the world, they control more than 50% of the entire property, entire wealth of this planet. Is this not crazy? This is completely crazy. There would be no poverty, there would be no war, because everyone is getting enough. And there would be no unhappiness. Because this overaccumulation, who is the one suffering? The one who is overaccumulating. Because the mind becomes extraversial, and you feel that emptiness. And to that emptiness, you are throwing the planets, the mines, the factories, so many things. Still that emptiness is there. So our task will be, I just recently read again this book. It is called The Guide to Human Conduct, Jivan Veda. I will put the link. It's a beautiful book. It's about this Jama Niyama principle. I am, last 20 years, I'm trying to live these principles and to practice meditation. And also I'm getting my experience in day-to-day life. And you know what I'm finding? I'm finding that every problem has a solution in that very little book. It's amazing. I'm really amazed how such a simple thing can solve all our problems on the individual and the collective level. It's unbelievable. I don't understand, but it is really so. So this aparigraha, you will tremendously benefit from this aparigraha. It is the search for freedom from material dependencies. Don't cut everything, just a little. Make a little. You have this idea to get some more. You say, okay, not this time, not this week. Let's see how I feel. And then slowly you will find that inner happiness that it is much more than what you are getting, that dopamine that you are just temporarily, that hormone in your brain by buying something. And then what we have naturally, if we live like this, lots of resources getting unutilized. Then we need to utilize something for others' welfare, for service, helping people to develop physically, mentally, and most importantly, spiritually. So this is all about aparigraha. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to this channel. Let us stay together. We have completed Jama Sadhana, principles of Jama. And these principles are for dealing with the world. By following these principles, we are not distorting our mind anymore. We are in harmony with the world. And there are 5 more principles, which is called Niyama Sadhana. And those principles are for self-purification, for straightening and clearing all the curvatures that we have acquired from previous unharmonious actions. Thank you very much. Have a good day. And practice aparigraha. Practice aparigraha. And please, this is very controversial topic. You write in your comments what you think. Truly, let us discuss. Namaskar.